Hi Esther, this is Rebecca with your assignment 1, Changing Context Critique. So these were great images that you chose for this assignment. They're just perfect era, I think, for something like this. And you did successfully change the context in this image. The contrast looks really nice, and it looks like you cleaned it up really nicely. So this was a great start for this one. Adding the bears was a great idea. It's ended up being kind of a funny addition too. I really like the placement of where you sat them as well. The only thing is, I think it would be more effective if it was either one bear or 3 different bears instead of repeating the same bear over. Also, the scale seems a little bit off to me, and like it seems a little too small, as well as the cutting out the bear. There's the edge is just like really kind of sharp, and there's some haloing going on here. So now that you know how to use the refine edge tool, I would recommend going in and making the edge of the bear a little softer. Also, the bear image is a higher resolution image than this image, and this image is actually just a tad bit blurry, just a little bit. So I would add a blur filter to the bear, a Gaussian blur filter, until it gets to a pretty close match. And then I would even add a grain filter to it to try to make it appear to be from the same time period. Other than that, the contrast is pretty similar, and I think that's fine. The other thing that would really drive this home is if these bears had shadows. It would really make them look more placed in the image instead of like stuck on the image. So as you can see, the sun is coming from like up here in the front of these people because their shadow is getting over to the side here as well as over here. So these bears would have shadows coming off of them this way. So that's just something to keep in mind when adding other elements into an image. This image, I understand what you're doing here, and I'm trying to figure out by how adding women to this image changes the context of the original photo. And I don't think that adding a couple people to an image that already has a few people in it necessarily changes the story of exactly what's going on here. And you didn't really go into too much detail in your description to lead me to a different story than what was already here. So just keep that in mind. You know, I think that you really stretched it on the other image by adding the bears, whereas in this image, you know, it doesn't seem to be, the context doesn't seem to be stretched very far. Other than that, the contrast in the image is really nice. I see some blacks and some highlights, and it's a beautiful image. So these were, like I said, they're great choices. And if you were to place an object in this image, same thing, cutting them out a little bit cleaner, using the refine edge tool to really get the hair a little bit better, and adding a shadow to place the object would really make it feel, you know, like it was more seamless. So keep up the good work as far as picking good images and trying out new ideas and experimenting with your new tools.